Retro Boxer. Today is June 6th, 2025. 2025. We're going to talk about today. I want to finish up and wrap up my experience with testosterone and being a female, right? We associate testosterone. I talked about this last week, and so if you want to look at that video, it's going to correlate with this video because I just been researching this whole testosterone and our species is what I'm recognizing. Our species has a problem with the uptake of testosterone and our signals being all wrong because our testosterone is not working right. Or I should say, our testosterone is not working right because our signals are all wrong, right? Our internal signals that send information for where nutrients are supposed to go so that we can function correctly, properly, and with strength and power, because we're losing power. And so I'm going to go over some stuff I didn't go over last week because like I said, I'm new to this whole testosterone thing, but I lived an experience that you'll see on my last video talking about testosterone and sleep deprivation, right? Because I got a new work schedule where I'm waking up between the 1 and 2 o'clock hour. And I lost all physical and mental power and ability to function normally. And this is from 1 month to the next. This is not because I'm aging and it comes along with time. And, I'll go from full force to non-functioning. That because that happened to me, I'm a testimony of it. I'm not saying that what I do for myself is going to help everybody. What I'm saying, what I experience makes me recognize that we need to sound the alarm, that we're losing force and power because we're made up of our base element is testosterone. This makes the physicality of woman. And I didn't know that. I just found that out because I've been researching and recognizing its importance. On other videos, you see me talking, or people who ask me about testosterone if I'm taking any, because they see that I have muscle tone and definition. I don't live in the gym. I work like everybody else a lot, but I do get the gym work in there, right? And so they think maybe I'm taking testosterone or something, right? So because I have a history of talking about, I don't even look at testosterone because I associate testosterone with growing a beard, and being manly. And I don't want to be manly. I'm already strong enough in my potentiality that I don't look at testosterone, but I do now because I'm recognizing it's what makes mankind. Now, there's something I should have looked up and I didn't look up. I'm just realizing right now. So, stand by. Give me a standby. If anybody got anything to say, I left the comments on. If I get any rude comments, I won't read it and I'll just remove you. That's all. Keep it simple. But I leave in the comments so that we could talk. Because I like talking to the people who like talking to me. Alright, let me see what I want to look up right here. Got a real slow computer. Oh my gosh. It's so slow that I don't like using it while I'm talking with you guys because it takes forever. It takes forever. Eventually I'm going to get a new computer and a PC, the base, right? I got everything else, but I'm just missing the base, the brain, so it can work well. Alright, 1 second. Sorry about this, you guys. I got you standing by. More than likely nobody's on here anyway, so give me that second will be just fine. So, when I want to talk about testosterone and estrogen, right? Testosterone and estrogen, We know typically the testosterone is for females and estrogen is for men or males, and we leave it. It's been put into our, our natural way of thinking to separate the two. One means male, one means female. Now that I've had this experience that I lost all my physical and mental and cognitive functions, like being able to stay awake while driving my bus, not passing out and having some type of self-control. I lost all that in a month's time just because my work schedule. Like I said, you gotta watch my last video so you can see what I'm talking about. And I recognize that if between the 1, 2, and 3 o'clock hour, I found this information out from my sister. She works in biology, right? She works in biology. She's a lab tech. And I'm going to post the information she showed me from a doctor called Dr. Pete Ross, right? And Dr. Pete Ross, she talks about Chinese medicine and how in Chinese medicine they talk about that between the 1 and 3 o'clock hour, the liver is detoxifying. It's doing a lot of processes, right? And the liver is the one that produces cholesterol. And to get testosterone where it got to go, it needs cholesterol. And we have a stress hormone called cortisol, right? So we got this little triangle going on. We got cholesterol right here, made by the liver. And then we have testosterone hormone right here. And then over here, we have a stress hormone called cortisol. Well, we're under a lot of stress all the time. So we have problems because of this stress. And this is what I've come to recognize by what I lived last week. What I just lived last week is being impossible for me to function, have strength, mentally stay awake, stimulated, be able to go to the gym. I couldn't do that for a month. I couldn't even come to work on my extra day off. I missed a whole month of extra work because I physically couldn't do it. So my exhaustion level, it would just, I was empty and I couldn't, no matter how much I slept. I was sleeping in my car, sleeping more than I ever slept before, but I was more fatigued than I'd ever been before. So I had to go and look what is going on, right? I fixed it by getting this Tongkat Ali that gets your androgen receptors, the receptors to grab the testosterone that's free floating in there in our blood, and it puts it, boop, moves it, right? Because it's able to grab it because it needs to grab onto a receptor. So this helps with stimulating the receptors. That's what we got. This doesn't put testosterone in your body. It allows to connect the receptors to the testosterone that's roaming around in our blood. So if you look up Tongkat Ali and androgen, what are they called? Receptors, androgen receptors. So I'm learning all this stuff as we go, guys, right? I'm just putting the information from boots on the ground, what I just lived, what I just experienced with extreme exhaustion that's not ever been typical for me, right? If you follow my page and you follow me long enough, you know that those words don't even go with me. Exhaustion and not being able to put out energy. I went just straight empty and incapable of functioning from one month to the next. And the only thing that changed was my work shift when I'm waking, my waking hours. So now let's go back to this Dr. Pete Ross, where I'm going to give you an Instagram links that my sister sent, right, of this information. How Chinese medicine is talking about if the liver's detoxifying between the 1 and 3 o'clock hour, and we're waking up at that time, we spike something called the cortisol hormone, right? And this is what I found out, is the cortisol hormone needs cholesterol, and the testosterone hormone needs cholesterol. So if these guys are both competing, testosterone and cortisol, stress hormone, and testosterone, brain function, physicality function, willpower, just ability to function with strength, right? Normal strength. I didn't even have normal strength. If they both need cholesterol that the liver produces, because that's where we get the cholesterol from, and the liver between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning is having an interruption called stress by waking up, our sleep cycle. We're supposed to be sleeping, right? It is then going to send that cholesterol to help the cortisol instead of helping the testosterone. And this is why people who work graveyard shifts and are awake constantly at those liver hours, is what I'm going to call it, the 1 to 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have some type of dysfunction with getting that cholesterol over that comes from the liver going over to testosterone, because now you got to go take care of the stress of us waking up when we shouldn't be awake, because that sleep cycle is called the circadian rhythm. No matter why we're awake, it don't matter why we're awake, but if we're doing this repetitively, being awake in those hours, we're not uptaking the testosterone. Those androgen receptors are not doing their function. I don't have the data on it because I've just started researching this. I've just started pulling the work together, but I'm telling you, look in this direction, because I lived the experience where I became incapable. It was impossible for me to mentally function, physically function, and do basic things. I couldn't do basic things. And I don't even have stress of kids. I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I don't have nothing taking pressure from me or taking energy from me, yet I'm tapped the fuck out because it was a change, only one change, and that was when I'm waking up between the 1 and 2 o'clock hour. So this Tongkat Ali helped me and get my androgen receptors to pull the testosterone that I already have free flowing in my bloodstream, whoop, so that in 20 minutes I'm just like, fuck. I felt the difference just when I was driving. I could feel the difference. So this is what ended up happening at work yesterday. So yesterday I'm going, hey, hi Chuck, only because I saw your pink hat. I know it's you. How you doing, Chuck? Who else we got right here? You want to know what it's like to get punched in the stomach? I'll have to tell you that towards the end. Yes, I know what that feels like. I'm pretty good at taking those blows. We'll talk about that. Yesterday, as I'm going and I'm walking to clock in on the second part of my shift, my boss manager stops me and says, Michelle, come in the office. He goes, you got that stuff you were talking about? And he's talking about this because I tell my bus manager about the supplements I take, what it changes, what it does, and he goes and he buys them. He actually buys them and he feels the difference and he sees the change. He sees a change in me when I started taking this specific one. Not any D3, this specific one, because I make sure that there is no blockers or stoppers. When I say no fillers, nothing to counter the effects we're trying to get. So when I pick a supplement, I pick it because I'm making sure that it's going to be full on effective to help us get what we're looking for. So when he got this one from New Elements, he noticed the difference. He also, this one right here, this Thymax, Objective Nutrients, this is B1. So my bus manager feels and sees the difference for himself, and he sees it in me. He knows my attitude. He knows I pick an extra day to work on my day off. He always knows I'm there. He sees my routine, and then all of a sudden I come into work and I tell him I can't do this job no more. I have to resign, put in my 2 weeks and find another job, or as soon as I find another job, I gotta go. I can't do this no more. It's bad for my health to be a bus driver. The random constant changing of schedules, sleep schedules, right? I can't get a regular rhythm or a pattern so that my health can be stable, stable, good. So when I tell this to my boss, he knows I talked to him about the Tongkat Ali, because later I came to him and said, boss, look at this. I found this stuff. I'm better. I don't have to quit so fast. I still put on my resume because this bus driving is not for me. But this is what I found with this Tongkat Ali, and I'm fucking ready to go. I'm fucking ready to go. And he saw the movement in my body. My life came back. And he goes, yep, I see the difference. Like, he could see this shit. I'm walking first into his office, like, I gotta quit, I'm fucking dying. I'm driving and I'm falling asleep without a red light and without a stop sign. You know, when you sit at a stop, you close your eyes, you pass out. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about driving and fucking fading. Driving and fading. That shit's dangerous. So I'm saying I gotta go. And to come to find out, this is a regular tendency with bus drivers. It's a big deal with bus drivers. I'm thinking it's just me, and it's like, no, this is a big deal with bus drivers worldwide. And now I recognize why. Testosterone is for basic, absolute, proper function, for normality, for structure, for men and for women. So I found another doctor for you ladies out there who are not used to hearing that testosterone is necessary, it's primary, it's our base that makes woman. Testosterone makes woman. And then we have men with testosterone that makes man, because it's our framework, it's our functionality, right? It's our mentality. What distinguishes us different than males is that extra estrogen. Men have less estrogen. And so this creates the difference in the definition in our two kinds, female and male. But the base for both is testosterone. And I've just come to find this out, because it's not taught like that. So this doctor right here, her name is Dr. Kate Lyzanga Dean. I hope I said her name right. But I'll be posting on there is how to increase testosterone levels. And this is the explanation of removing the concept idea that women don't need testosterone when it's our primary basis. She will make it make sense for the female structure, right? And for the men out there, Elliot Overton, I found a video. I love Elliot Overton. He makes this brand of B1. He makes the brand called Objective Nutrients. Elliot Overton is a nutritional therapist, meaning to the max when it comes to nutrition. So he even developed his own line of nutrients. They're clean and free of fillers. And he is the best at B vitamins that I know of. The best. And that's why he had to make his own line, because nobody's making it like he does, right? He goes on to talk about how he fixed his low free testosterone. So I had low free testosterone, and there's a big difference between all these different types of where the testosterone is going and what it's called and how it's causing different effects on women and on men, right? And in this video, he talks about men need to draw their blood out because they have too much iron load in their body, and that excess iron load is lowering their testosterone, right? Lowering their level of testosterone. So when men go draw their blood, they're removing that excess iron, and that allows their body to then balance out their testosterone. So he goes back and forth with other scientists on YouTube that are into this type of data. And so you can hear their blood tests, their results from their profession, because they are special at what they do, right? They're specialists at what they do. And you can see your life compared to what they're talking. Their data compared to what you need and what I need to be looking at is my data, right? Because doctors are not going to tell us. Doctors are just going to make sure that the medications that they're putting us on doesn't get interfered with something else that you're trying to put in or remove or take out. But it's medication, it's pharmaceutical, right? It's pharmaceutical. And for us that need to know about ourselves and how we're going to help ourselves, we got to know this data. And if testosterone, I shouldn't say if, testosterone is that important that it is our primary structure for mental and physical capabilities, abilities, structure, form, mentality, will, right? They say that here in the Western medicine, they say that emotions have nothing to do with nutrients. With D3 and B vitamins, D vitamins and B vitamins, the D's and the B's, regulate your mood. So if it's regulating your mood, you're going to say, I have nothing to do with your emotions. Mood is emotions. And we live by these emotions, and they got to get balanced out because we're all fucked up. We're all fucked up, and it's on purpose because we have something working against our species, and that's another species that is not mankind. And I talk about this on my channel on a regular basis because it's the real fucking deal. When I say that, I fucking mean it. I speak like this because this ain't no fucking game time. We need to get on our shit and fix ourselves. We need to have the fucking mental and physical ability to be able to move fucking forward, to overcome the shit that's put on us. Because it's heavy. In all kinds of fucking ways. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing you what I fucking recognize because I lived it. I lived it. And so if my testimony can help you recognize why you lack mental and physical fucking energy because your sleeping patterns all fucked up for multiple different reasons, right? It'll be all different reasons, but the same thing is happening where because we're waking up in the 1, 2, 3 o'clock hour, we lack mental and physical fucking energy. I'm trying to make sure we get it back. So we can start looking in this direction to help ourselves. I talked about in my last video where to go get low cost, no medical insurance necessary. You pay for your tests, right? You pay for your tests. I can't believe I don't have it right here, right in front of me. 1 second. Oh. Just want to make sure I say it right? Any lab test now. I'll be duplicating the same information I put on my last one on this one. So you know you can go get any type of blood test. And if you don't see it on their list, they even tell you, ask us, and we'll see what we can get for you to get you the test that you need at a price that is affordable. You know, 3 different type of tests for $89. Wow, that's what I'm talking about. We need to get our own blood tests, listen to these guys who are professionals at what they do so we understand what these blood tests are and so that we can read what we have. So we understand what's going on. Because if we as adults don't know for ourselves, how are we going to teach our children? We can't. We become dependent on a system that's set up to fuck us up. I think I got all that information out. Someone wanted to tell you. Elliot Overton, I tell you, he makes those B vitamins, right? Those real clean B vitamin supplements. When he talks about how he fixes low-free testosterone by getting blood removed, right? Donating blood, he's able to do what women do. So what it's doing is copying what women do. Women, when we have our menstrual cycle, we lose iron, right? And then we have to replenish, and this is why we're always low on iron. And as I did on my last video, I showed you which iron supplement I take that's clean, no fillers, it's effective, and it helps detoxify the liver at the same time. I'll post it on here as well. But the men have too much iron, so when they go get their blood drawn, it allows their body to start their blood all over again, make new blood, right? New blood cells. He also talks about in another video, which I got to look for, but I remember hearing it on one of his other videos, that when men have too much excess estrogen, because we're being loaded with estrogen, men and women are being overloaded with a long list of different names that all mean estrogen. In our gums, in our mints, our breath mints, in our deodorants, in our creams, in our perfumes, our colognes, our foods, our tortillas. This shit is put in everything. So little bits of estrogen is making us soft, weak, like fucking potato sacks. You know, potato, really fucking us up because it's an excess. It's too much. It's making a weak, incapable species is what it's doing to us. We're getting our testosterone lowered, disorganized, and we're getting excess of estrogen pumped up into the males and the females, which is fucking up how we feel about sex, how we feel about life. These steroid hormones, which is estrogen and testosterone, these steroid hormones, steroid meaning it changes our appearance, it changes our way of thinking, it changes our way of feeling, right? It'll turn a straight man gay. Estrogen will turn a straight man gay. Estrogen will turn a female gay, lesbian. I speak from experience. And when we balance it out, we start thinking on a natural operation, in a natural order, right? We don't have natural order because nothing's fucking natural anymore. And so we have to work to get ourselves on a nice straight baseline where we're avoiding all this excess estrogen. I'm gonna put a list for you guys in the car. It's so long. It's just fucking long. Once you have this list, you'll go and you'll look on the back of what you're eating. You look at your vitamins. You look at your gum. You look at your toothpaste. I don't care what you look at the back of. You're gonna find estrogen, and you're gonna see how many years of your life, for every day of your life and your children's life, we're just being loaded. We're getting loaded with this estrogen. And so once we recognize to remove it from our diet and buy a product that doesn't have it. I don't say don't eat chocolate. I'm saying don't buy chocolate that got estrogen in it, right? And I'll give you a list of those names. And so you learn to avoid the estrogen in your consumption so you can get control back in your life being a male or a female. So one of Elliot Overton's videos, he's talking about you go get your blood, men go get their blood drawn so you get all that excess estrogen out their blood so the body can make new blood and they can get back to their balance, right? In their manhood. Because we need men because this world's fucking broken. We need men to be men and women to be women. We do. And I'm not saying you can't be gay. I'm saying that know what you are when you're balanced and move from there. Let's work from balance instead of disruption, because we have a species working on making sure we're fucking disrupted, dysfunctional, and incapable of raising our children correctly, living strong, healthy lives, loving life. We can't even love life because we hate the system that makes us hate life, and I'm speaking from my own experience. So I want you to get your power back. I want you to get your strength back so you know where it's coming from. You know how it's being removed. We recognize what's taking it down. Because we don't recognize it's a fucking enemy, then we don't push to make a change. At least I know that's what fuels my fire. It fuels my fire. I was going to go into a topic, but before I do, not a topic, but I was going to go into this next bit, but I just realized I want to talk about this, what I talked about in the last video, how I make this loose powder form, Tongkat Ali, into my black caffeine and cream in the morning, right? But it's real strong, this Tongkat Ali in powder form. You know, some of you all need capsules, right? You just take it and not taste it. I've just ordered some capsules today, and I'm going to put the list on here, or not the list, but the name of the product, the brand, I should say, of the Tongkat Ali. It's like for 12 bucks, under 12 bucks, right? And it's 425 milligrams per gelatin capsule. It took me forever to find a clean capsule product, because in the capsules, you're going to see that they put rice in there. They put rice in there. In a lot, if not the majority of supplements that are in capsules, they have a filler, and it's usually rice. Now, who cares if they're like, oh, who cares if it's rice? I eat rice anyways, right? I don't fucking eat rice, but other people eat rice. Rice is not the rice of Asians of the past, right? It's not, corn is not the corn of the past. Wheat's not the wheat of the past. These guys are called nightshades. They're in the nightshade family. Wheat, rice, corn, soy, sugarcane, oats, barley. They're in the nightshades. And they put nightshades in our supplements, which is counteractive because nightshades block androgen receptors. So we're countering what we're trying to get a full effect of. So I look for supplements that have no nightshades for many reasons, not just because of the androgen receptor blocker that nightshades contain. It's making sure that we get a full effect and full force of what we're trying to go and get. So when I show you a product, I'm not getting random products. I'm looking in the back and I'm making sure for all the details to make sure that we don't have any fillers countering, because there's many reasons to counter. There's technology being put into the food and into our medicine. It's in everything. But this technology is called nanobiotechnology, and this is the base of where I look from, right? This is the base of where I make sure everything is good to go, so that when I put it in my body, it doesn't cause an immune effect. Meaning now my guard is dropped. Now all the toxicity that's come from here, from there, and from everywhere, it got a good 8 hours to fuck me up. I don't drop my immune system. I don't create an immune effect. I don't trigger a response of my immune system now having to go fight a battle, because nightshades also open up the intestinal wall and feces comes out into our system, causing mental psychosis, emotional problems, physical problems. We got all kinds of problems when we have waste in the system. So for many reasons, I avoid nightshades. And our ancestors used to burn the high lectin protein that's in those nightshades that are harmful to us. They would burn the chili peppers and take the skin off. They'd sweat the skin off, take all the seeds out, because in the skin and the seeds of the tomatoes and the chilies are where these high lectin proteins in the nightshades are, and they get rid of it. In the corn, Mexicans will boil that corn with something called cal, and they get it from a rock, calcium carbonate called caliche in Mexico, and they boil it because they're burning the fucking high lectin dangerous protein, and then they make the tortillas, and then we're okay. Well, we don't do this shit no more. Well, we used to do it in Mexico, very old school style, but everything's so now industrialized that the corn that Mexico is getting comes from the outside of Mexico, and the seed is set up with atrazine and all kinds of other things that genetically put into the plant so it can hold that poison, right? That chemical, so that the plant don't die and it gets to our table, right? It gets to the processing line without dying, and it looks alive. So we're still gonna go with that corn when it has all this genetic fucking mutation in it, and that's what we're dealing with. So what our ancestors used to do is not what we're doing today, and so we got to make switch ups and adjustments, and that's what I do. I do not drop my line of defense. I keep my immune system guard up at all times. I avoid nightshades, all nightshades in seeds, in nuts, in tree barks, because there's teas out there that are made of tree barks, fruits, vegetables. There's nightshades in everything to its category, right? So when I make sure not to consume them, I'm making sure that when I pick a product, there's no nightshade name in there that we don't recognize, but I recognize. And I make sure that if I can take it, I'm making sure that I show it to you. Because if I can take it, I'm keeping my guard up, and it's going to make sure not to drop your guard. And when I say that, meaning the product I pick, I select it because it's strategically selected. Because I showed these vitamins, in fact, these exact ones, to a girl at work, and she went and bought her own type. Her own type. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to get an effect, of positivity. But in the long run, they're not looking at the tech that's utilizing the silicone that's being slipped in the ingredients, so that nanobiotechnology now has building tools to fucking freeform whatever it's doing in our bodies. So I don't give the adversary tools to work against me. I don't give the opposition opportunity to fuck me up any more than it's trying to do. So I strategically select individual items because nobody is taking care of this on a large scale with the full line of supplements with eyeballs on everything. And so when I find a one thing out of the whole thing, I bring it first to me. First, so I try, I check. Then I say, this is what I found. That's the difference between when I show you an individual item I've tested for myself to clear all that up. I make sure that it's safe enough for you, right? You show it to your doctor so that it doesn't mix with the medication he got you on. I say that because I don't need nobody coming and saying it's my fault. Their meds with my vitamins don't work together, because they don't. I will tell you one thing. If you have medication of any kind, even if it's street drugs, and you take a vitamin, and you take an effective vitamin, a vitamin that got full force in it, not some shitty Walmart typical, I don't want to say the name brands, right? The basic shit that everybody buys, right? The generic basic, everybody buys that multivitamin bullshit that don't work. But an effective nutrient with medication and you take it at the same time, it's like having two pipes and trying to stick it in one hole. Only one's getting in. Only one's getting in. No matter how much you try to put that other one in at the same time. So we have to recognize that if we take medication, drugs is what it is, street drugs or legal drugs prescribed by doctors, and a potent vitamin, they're going to compete to get into the cell. That hole is the cell. So this is why there's a space in between, and you got to make sure that there's space in between the time you take a medication and a nutritional vitamin or supplement. There got to be space, because every half an hour is uptaking, going in, doing its job. Then later on, there's time and space for the next item of something to go in. Our body's constantly getting information from whatever we put in. When we put something in our body, be it a drink, be it a piece of food, there's information, be it fucked up information or good nutritive information. We live off of nutrients, right? But we're being genetically altered by genetically altering things. I don't even want to call them chemicals, because plants have natural chemicals, right? This is where chemicals come from plants, right? Everything comes from a natural source before it comes from a, I don't want to say synthetic, from a made up version of the natural. Everything's a made up version of the natural, but it has to follow the pattern of the natural first. So that caffeine that I mix this Tongkat Ali with, I found out that it actually helps. The caffeine helps the Tongkat Ali with testosterone. Exercise. When you do exercise, and you do exercise that's strength training, I don't mean running, I mean like build muscle, push the limits to your body, push hard, it boosts testosterone. And proper sleep between 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning boosts testosterone. So if these things are boosting testosterone, we have to pay attention. Proper sleep is what I mean as far as paying attention. We have to pay attention to getting proper sleep, because if it's boosting testosterone, there's something happening in that 1, 2, 3 o'clock hour that I don't think we've done research studies on it, because we're not looking there. We're not looking for why that's important. Why are the Chinese paying attention to it and the Western is not? So all we can do is take the data from all sides, triangulate this information, recognize that X marks the spot. The coincidence leads to why they synchronize that information together, what we need to synchronize that information together and help ourselves. This is how we're going to be able, because we're never going to be told this is what it is. Because how is anybody going to come and tell us that? We have a world full of deception. And the only way we're going to be able to come out of this is by piecing our information together. Because we're a species, and the only people who are going to help us are people who recognize that there's something against our species. We have to start thinking in that way and have no fear about it. And it's a creature kind, literally, with a mentality like man, because it has the genetics of mankind, with animal kind. mixed with technology. You'll have to watch my other videos to recognize what I'm talking about, so all this stuff makes sense. But this is why I do what I do, and when I go through these experiences, I go look for the data for the shit I just fucking survived from, and I put the pieces together. So it's testimony is what I'm giving you guys. I'm giving you guys testimony. Let me circle back to that part where my boss pulled me in and said, Michelle, come in here. So I'm walking through, I'm about to go clock in, and there's this guy sitting there who just ran a red light because he fell asleep while driving. And this just happened yesterday, right? This just happened yesterday. I didn't do it, somebody else did. I want people to misunderstand what I just said. So this guy's an older gentleman, right? And everything can be blamed on, well, he's senile, you know, it's gonna happen. Fuck no, that just happened to me 2 weeks ago. That shit just happened to me 2 weeks ago, and that's never happened to me before. But I've also never had to get up regularly between 1:30 and 2:30 on a regular schedule that at some point, oh, it just fucking broke me down. Right? Broke me the fuck down. My boss remembered that and said, Michelle, come here. You got that product? Let me see. Because now he got somebody in front of him who just did what I did. And I just told my boss, my boss, right? My boss. I drive a bus, for those of you who don't know. I drive a city bus. So my boss knows I had just come in and said, boss, I'm okay. I'm better. I fixed my shit in 20 minutes. Let me tell you. And I brought this to show him, right? Told him all about it. So he takes a picture of it, and I'm listening to this gentleman talk about how this has never happened to him since he's been a bus driver. And I just said, hey, what time did you get your new bid, right? Because we all just got a new bid, put on new routes, right? And so when we get a new route, our sleep pattern changes because when we wake up changes, or how we do things change because our hours have changed. And a lot of times it's pretty dramatic within an hour. I didn't know that if I wake up before 3:30 in the morning, because I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to work a 12-hour shift as a forklift operator, and I was cool. Even though I was tired, I still had energy where I could still work out, do push-ups and stuff like that after a 12-hour day. But I'm thinking it's not a big deal if I wake up at 2:30 if I'm used to getting up at 3:30. Oh shit, it's a big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal. Life-changing, altering deal. Because now I know that the liver is making cholesterol at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's detoxifying. I should say, if the liver is where we get our cholesterol, and the liver is known to be detoxifying between the 1, 2, 3 o'clock hour, and I disrupt that for whatever reason, I have a problem now because my cholesterol, instead of going to my testosterone, is going over to my stress hormone called cortisol. So now that I know, now you know from my experience, run with that, work with that, look in that direction. I'm not saying this is a fix-all, be-all for everyone. I'm saying this fixes all my problems for my situation. I still want to get off of this bus route. I still don't want to be there. I want my life back to normal. My body now passes out by 7 p.m. I get home by 6. And fucking I'm out because I'm up at 2:30 in the morning and sometimes 1:30 in the morning. So by 7 o'clock, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for 30 minutes. No, I'm out. I left all the lights on and fucking passed out. And I have zero control over it because my body's not in its natural circadian rhythm. Is off. Its natural sleep cycle is off. So it's very important that we get that back on track if we want to be able to have proper health and help our liver. We need to help our liver help itself so that our testosterone and everything else that's working from the detoxification of the liver, if it ain't taking out waste and doing all the things that it needs to do, our liver, we have such a bad diet and we don't want to change our diet. We need to change our diet so we can help our liver. We need to help our intestines because it's our factory for sending signals to the brain, right? It's our vitamin factory, happens in our intestines. Our diet affects our intestines and our liver. Our diet affects everything. So We got to get our strength back so that we can have the mental desire and will to move this forward, to help ourselves. There's a part in here in the Gospel of Peace. You guys know I am a follower of Yeshua's way. And in the Gospel of Peace, there's a section, it's a small section, but it's important and imperative because Yeshua talks about changing the diet. And he explains that the adversary will break you through what you put in your mouth, what you eat. And back in Yeshua's time, the adversary was called Satan. Now today, Satan is an image that we have, and we don't look at it the same way Yeshua in his time was explaining. So in here, when it says Satan, I'm going to say adversary so that we don't get a mental block and push away and not want to hear the words that are being said. On page 34 of the Essene Gospel of Peace, says on the bottom paragraphs, so eat always from the table of God, the fruits of the trees, the grains and grasses of the field, the milk of the beasts and the honey of the bees. For everything beyond these is of the adversary, and leads by the way of sin and of disease unto death. But the food which you eat from the abundant table of God gives strength and youth to your body, and you will never see disease. For the table of God fed Methuselah of old, and I tell you truly, if you live even as he lived, then you will, then will the God of the living give you also long life upon the earth as was his. So for those of you who don't know, Methuselah was one of the longest living individuals recorded in the 900s, right? Meaning what you eat, what we eat, will give us life or will bring us to rot. And we're rotting. We are breaking down. There's more that Yeshua goes into and talking about how fasting is necessary because it will kill the adversary that's trying to break you the fuck down. Break you, break me, break us down. I never want to talk about this as a you problem. This is a we problem. We got a fucking problem that we need to fix. Yeshua's way is not taught in the Bible. There's only pieces of Yeshua's way in the Bible, and those pieces I find outside of the Bible when I hear Yeshua speak. And I'm starting a collection. I've talked about in my other videos, and in that collection, I'm going to end up putting a book together where it's Yeshua and his two brothers, James and Thomas. When we have information from Yeshua and his two brothers, is moving ahead forward with Yeshua's way. That is Yeshua's way. It's not everybody else's way. It's not Abraham's way. It's not Moses' way. It's not Noah's way. It's Yeshua's way, because that's what I follow. And that's what he came to teach us, so that we can follow a good path, so that we can get out of the position of this adversary that's set up to break us the fuck down. I think I'm done with all of that. I got all that information out. It was very important for me to give you guys that info. We'll move on from testosterone. I just felt that those things had to be explained because I know a lot of you guys are suffering out there with extreme fatigue. I got a friend, her name's Ann, and no matter the vitamins that she's copying what I'm doing, right? And she's noticing her stool and her bathroom movements are better. She's seeing things are getting better that were never better before, right? That couldn't get fixed before with the many times that she goes to the doctors. She's never able to fix those things, but her fatigue, she couldn't fix her fatigue. And I just lived that shit. I just recovered from that shit, and now I know her shit. I walked in her shoes, and now I recognize no matter how many supplements I have on my own, I can't help myself because my testosterone was not being taken up by the receptors. Main important thing to leave today here with is check androgen receptors and testosterone uptake. Not so much get testosterone in the body, it's the testosterone, even if it's low in our blood, even if it's low, if our receptors can't pick it up, that low amount of testosterone we have floating around there, if those receptors can pick them up, we're good to go. But our receptors are not working. And so we need to pay attention to androgen receptors and what's blocking it. Plastics block it, toxicity blocks it, lack of sleep blocks it, lack of physical exercise blocks it. There's a lot of things that activate it and a lot of things that block it. So those are the things we need to start looking into so we can help ourselves maintain that physical strength and mental fortitude. Oh my God, mental fortitude to get the fuck up off the couch even. It's like physically can't do it. I feel for you guys because I ain't there no more. I never want to be there again. Oh, you gotta take minerals. You gotta get a good minerals. I'll put my mineral list. I put it on my last video. I make my own minerals because I can't find better. But if you don't have zinc and potassium, you're not gonna be able to move these things in their proper location. Minerals are daily, daily, daily. We lose minerals daily. We gotta uptake minerals daily. It's not, I do minerals once a week. There's minerals every day. And now I'm done. Now I can say I'm done. Hi, Chuck. I'll say it again. Dusty, he says, damn, okay, that don't sound bad. And then we have a bunch of X's. I think that means a lot of hugs, right? I think that means a lot of hugs. I'll take them. All right, you guys. Hey, I made it for the hour. It's perfect. It's 8:26, 8:30. If nobody has nothing else to say, we'll be done for the night. I thought that was very important to tell you guys about that testosterone and the importance of it. Being a female, we need to check our testosterone. I wanted to tell you guys something, but I don't have the hardcore data. I'm gonna have to leave it for the next time. Chingado. I was supposed to get it ready for you because it's some good shit. Some good, we know, but we didn't know type of shit. I got a couple minutes before 8:30. I'm gonna see if I can get it right here. Let me see this last person. It says SASOHL Raja. I want you to say Raja, okay? Give me a bunch of X's. I didn't say who you were, so I'm going back and I'm saying. All right. Chingo. Nope, I don't have it. I'm mad about it. There's some good shit. I'm gonna have to leave it for the next one and then figure out how I'm going to put it together with the data for the next video. Oh, I'm trying to get it right now. I'm trying to get it right now before I leave. Okay, I got it. Ready? I gotta do it. All right. We are taught, this is how deceptive the adversary is, the opposition to mankind is to us, that it socially engineers our brains to divert from the truth that's right in front of us. We have the truth right in front of us, like having your man right in front of you, and he's fucking lying to you, saying he ain't cheating on you when you see all the fucking evidence, like a dick in, that dick in his mouth. That's if you got a guy who's cheating on you with other guys. I actually had that experience. That shit came out like that. Can't hide the truth, right? Can't fucking hide the truth. Shit traumatized me. But anyways, let's get back. My videos are never for children, alright? Don't ever let your children listen to me talk, ever, because I try to keep it real basic. Like I hold back from a lot of things I would like to say. Do not put it in front of kids. Let me go back. What the man? I went off into a tandem. Chingado. Men have a Y chromosome. Women have X chromosome. What I'm trying to say is we're diverted from the truth, and it's ingrained into us that it molds how we think commonly without no one telling us to think that way, but this is how we think. That I didn't know nothing about testosterone. I didn't want to have nothing to do with it because I'm a female. Right now, I recognize no, testosterone is primary. It's number one. Testosterone means female, and we don't know that. I recognize that today. But I'm sitting and I'm thinking and analyzing everything that I'm processing as far as information that I already know, stuff I've lived and experienced, and that putting the pieces together is testosterone is female first because females were made before the male. Female made before the male. And in the Bible and religious jargon, political jargon, social jargon, family jargon is male is first, then female. Female comes from the male rib when that is not correct. It is not correct, and we see it not because I say so, it's shown so. If the man is the Y chromosome and the female is the X chromosome, you have female X chromosome and it needs a Y chromosome to be added to the X chromosome, meaning X is first, the female is first, and man comes and stems from the female. A female's breast and a female's lower, we're going to call it her flower, right? When her flower is extended outwardly, the clitoris becomes a penis. The breasts shrink, but they originally come from the female's breast, right? And the breasts shrink when estrogen is removed from the testosterone. So females are the testosterone because we are the framework. And from this framework, we then get the male with more testosterone, less estrogen. And that less estrogen shrinks the breasts, yet men still have the nipples. Elongates the clitoris, creating a penis, right? There's the balls are the female's ovaries that now fall outwardly, and internally the females have them balls called huevos in Spanish. So, si tenemos pinches huevos means that we got fucking balls, and those balls come from the interior source of the female. I'm not a feminist. I hate feminists. There's some things I have hate for, and feminists are up there. Feminists is and are the destruction of family, of love, of caring and nurturing, because they're stuck in hate. So this is not coming from a feminist point of view. This is straight up science we deny, even though it's in our face. We have to restart all the information we have, put it all to the side, our thoughts of what, our opinions that have been molded into the framework of our mind, and we have to start putting the information in an orderly fashion to help ourselves, our species, our kind, mankind, get our shit back together. Because we've been lied to the point where it's right fucking in front of us and we're blind to it. Even if it's the science and the fucking data is right there. But we lie to ourselves because it's a safe place. But we have a mate who is cheating on us. We lie to ourselves because we're not ready to leave the house. We're not ready to have the kids get separated. We're not ready to figure out how we're going to do life alone. And so we keep the lie because it's a safe place. And so I'm saying we have to remove the lie so that we can move forward as a species, because the lie is so... We need to get ourselves back. We are being altered into a genetic mutation. So we have to reorganize our information so that it can fit in our minds, so that our actions are then different, and we look at the world differently. We look at it as, I need to reorganize, readjust my framework in my mind so that I can live out this life at a better capacity, because I want to enjoy life and continue to want to change this system, because the system is set up to break us down. All respect to men and women. I didn't say that to lower men. Men need to be strong in the shield. They have this extra testosterone so they could be the shield to protect the family. I need a man to protect me and my children, because he is the physical force and armor on the exterior, and females are the mental force in the interior. We can see operations, organizations in large scales already have a fucking solution planned out that's for the good of one and all. But not if that female is rotten to the fucking core, because she's been oppressed, right? Because she's been fucking squashed. And that's what this machine has done. It's made sure that the female is kept down since our written history, so that when the female rises up, she consumes man and burns him alive. And I'm a maker of man. I birth men. And I birth them and grow them to be solid men and individuals, to be that knight in shining armor, that it stands correct for the right reasons, who is rebellious against treason and fucking oppression, that has a golden heart, but yet is a fucking rebel for the right reasons. So we gotta get our womanhood right, we gotta get our manhood right, and we gotta get our fucking shit right for this to work right for our species, our kind. Damn, I go on some good ones, but I feel that shit, you know, I feel it, it's real. I can't even write that shit out, that just comes out in the moment. All right, you guys, nobody has nothing to say. It's all cool, it's all good. I'm glad I got a place where I can speak for those of you who are listening. All right, it's Michelle Angelique, spiritual boxer. Saying to the next time. Be well. May peace be with us all.